So this is Chippy at IDF Day 1. We've just come out of the keynote from Ottolini and smart. So I got Jeff Orr here of ABI Research, and actually, Jeff, first of all, nice to see you again. We met last year.
Yeah,
we had a
likewise.
great chat about...
Nice cover looking at my badge there to remember who I work for.
ABI. So actually tomorrow is like the big mobile day, Ultra Mobile, App Up, the whole Atom ecosystem, including Migo. Did you get anything out of the keynote today that kind of hints towards any extra efforts in that ecosystem, or was the keynote really all about Sandy Bridge?
Well, definitely from what's new at Sandy Bridge. I think, as you pointed out, since we talked last year, the big change really has to do with that steady growth, steady improvement. So going from the initial generation of the core series processors to a second-gen processor series with the codename Sandy Bridge, that's a pretty big development in terms of performance. I actually think they perhaps did themselves a bit of a disservice with the performance they showed. They really downplayed first-gen core i3, i5, i7 series,
which are current.
That's where the money is today. So I think they kind of did themselves a bit of disservice there. But obviously they're showing they continue to innovate and improve in that area. It's still to be seen how affordable and how accessible that'll be to the average user and consumer, and how quickly that gets into some more of the portable and mobile systems. On the mobile side, it was interesting to keep hearing the word smart over and over again.
Yeah.
And right up there, the very first slide with Paul, it was about smart. And my takeaway, unfortunately, is I just don't know what that means. What is it that I'm supposed to be smart about?
Yeah.
And who are they talking to? If I'm a developer, what are you asking me to do? Are you giving me more tools? Are you giving me more capabilities to speed development? You know, things like the App Up Center. Is it going to give me the ability to write once and deploy to many platforms? I think it's still a little bit too early to see how well that proves out. The concept's the right one.
It's a word used in different ways by different people, and when you look to the ARM ecosystem, it's used for smartphones and devices that rise above that. But here we saw smart TV. It's all about just new markets, really, isn't it? It's all about them trying to stimulate new markets away from the traditional laptop and, let's say, phone space.
Well, I think it's that, but I also think that Intel has to continue to reinforce its position, which is as a processor provider and a semiconductor provider, and not just the CPU guys for the traditional laptop or desktop or even server space. And that's got to be smaller form factors. It's got to show continued improvement in manufacturing processes, talking about getting to 22 nanometer process, for example, in the first half of 2011. Those are all really good advancements. That'll all trickle down to smaller form factors, whether it be handhelds or even some of the two-hand types of devices that we're going to see perhaps the next couple of days.
Yeah. What do you think about this idea of, I mean, Ottolini now introduced this idea of software and solutions. So we've now got silicon, software and solutions. They want to be providing, you know, the full package over to developers and people like that, OEMs, ODMs. Do you think this is actually the right direction for Intel? I mean, they're a silicon company. Why software and solutions on top of that?
The software element is essential to being able to provide that complete story, and you can't just have one and not the other. You can't just provide the hardware element and not be able to provide the tools, the utilities, the enablement on the software side. And so Intel's made a lot of investments, whether it be on the OS side through relations with Nokia and Linux Foundation for Migo, and being able to provide a storefront or a meeting place like the App Up environment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different investments they've made. Certainly, it was reiterated that the Wind River investment made a year ago has really paid off for them, and it hasn't hurt them. The risk, though, that Intel faces in providing that complete end-to-end solution, which they did use the phrase today of end-to-end, which I haven't really heard them say before. They've always been a very specific leading kind of ingredient supplier. So with that end-to-end message, the risk is too much integration. Mm-hmm. We've already started to see this obviously with discrete graphics versus integrated graphics, and the political issues, the business issues that come into how much you integrate, and is that killing competition or spurring innovation? That's the risk. So by getting more into software, whether it be McAfee on security, whether it be Infineon on 3G and LTE connectivity going forward, even the TI cable modem types of pieces that are using for smart TV. These are all potential opportunities to grow the core business of Intel, but at the same time it's a big risk because they risk alienating someone who saw Intel as providing a key portion of the solution and not trying to provide everything. And I'd contrast that with companies like Qualcomm, for example, fits into that same kind of boat where they try and provide very high integrated semiconductor solutions. As a result, they alienate a certain percentage of their potential users and developers because it's too integrated. If you're an app processor developer, you can't decouple that capability when you buy the Qualcomm silicon. Intel's going down that same kind of path potentially of so much integration that you remove the choice that everyone saw the freedom in before.
All right, let's. Tomorrow is day one, so tomorrow the Atom kind of news starts. We have the keynote in the morning from Renee James. It's going to be software, it's going to be App Hub, it's going to be MeeGo. Got any predictions you want to put forward? Got any ideas about what they might announce?
I think what Intel, what they need to be showing is a lot of strength, a lot of force through customer leadership. I mean, it can't be Intel saying we're doing great things. It really needs to be their customers, PC OEMs, device manufacturers, the key software integrators, the Wind Rivers and so forth, really standing up and saying, we're making progress and you demonstrate it. It can't just be, come to us because we're Intel. It has to be proven and experienced types of learnings. So that's what I'm really hopeful to see. It'll be interesting, I think, with the App Store to see, a year ago, that whole concept was launched of, is Intel getting into the App Store business? Tomorrow we actually get to see a little bit of what that means. And is it going to prove out? Is it going to be something that is that can attract people, build an ecosystem around it, or is it something that's just going to be an Intel branded place that people will say yet another?
I agree with you. I think that tomorrow we need to see partners on stage saying we're supporting it. We're actually putting effort, time, money into it. I also think they need to do just a little bit more to seed App Up and seed this developer ecosystem. I would put a little bit of money on them actually announcing that they might have a partner that's got developers already that's coming into this ecosystem. When you look at companies like HP with WebOS, they're actually a similar position. They need to actually seed their whole development ecosystem from scratch as well. So maybe a company like that could just come in with Intel, bring a bunch of developers, bring a bunch of ecosystem members, and really it would just explode in front of people's eyes in the keynote, and then maybe people would realize
developer challenges, bake-offs, being able to bring the people together who have the great ideas, and actually being able to fund them to realize those capabilities.
Okay, Jeff Orr from ABI Research, without looking at your
You did it. Nice job.
Thanks for your time.